Today we'll talk about the characteristics of four most basic attachment styles, being secure attachment style, avoidant, anxious, and anxious-avoidant. The first one, being the secure attachment style, typically exhibits the following characteristics. First, comfort with intimacy and independence. People with a secure attachment style feel comfortable with both intimacy and independence. They can form close, loving relationships without fear of losing their sense of self. They are equally at ease being alone and relying on themselves. Second, positive view of self and others. They generally have a positive view of themselves and others. This healthy self-esteem allows them to trust others and believe in their own worthiness of love and affection. Third one is effective communication. Securely attached individuals are good at communicating their needs and feelings. They can express themselves openly and honestly without fear of rejection and ridicule. This transparency fosters mutual understanding and trust in their relationships. Fourth one is emotional regulation. These individuals tend to have good emotional regulation skills. They can manage their emotions effectively, which helps them remain calm and composed during conflicts or stressful situations. The fifth one is trust and dependability. Trust is a cornerstone of secure attachment. Securely attached individuals are trustworthy and dependable. They also trust others to be reliable and supportive. This mutual trust creates a strong foundation for stable and enduring relationships. The sixth one is healthy boundaries. They maintain healthy boundaries in relationships. They respect their own needs and the needs of others, ensuring that they do not become overly dependent or enmeshed with their partners. The seventh one is resilience to conflict. While no relationship is entirely free of conflict, those with a secure attachment style handle disagreements constructively. They are more likely to approach conflicts with a problem-solving attitude rather than defensiveness or aggression. So they are looking for solutions, they are negotiating and not fighting. The eighth one is seeking and providing support. Securely attached individuals are comfortable seeking support when they need it and providing support to their partners. This reciprocity strengthens their relationships and fosters a sense of security and mutual reliance. The last one, ninth, is positive relationship outcomes. As a result of those traits, secure attachment often leads to healthier, more satisfying, and longer-lasting relationships. These individuals are better equipped to form stable, loving partnerships and foster healthy dynamics. In summary, a secure attachment style is characterized by a balance of intimacy and independence, effective communication, emotional regulation, and mutual trust. Individuals with this attachment style are typically resilient in the face of conflicts and capable of forming deep, meaningful connections with others. This style provides a solid foundation for healthy, supportive, and enduring relationships. The next style we are going to talk about is avoidant attachment style, also known as dismissive-avoidant attachment. It is one of the four main attachment styles identified in attachment theory. Individuals with an avoidant attachment style typically exhibit the following characteristics. The first one being preference for independence. People with an avoidant attachment style highly value their independence and self-sufficiency. They often see themselves as autonomous and self-reliant, avoiding reliance on others. Second characteristic is discomfort with intimacy. Those individuals often feel uncomfortable with emotional closeness and intimacy. They may struggle to form deep, meaningful connections, keeping others at a distance to protect themselves from their vulnerability. Maybe they are scared of being hurt by the other person or losing that person, and that's why they choose to be to back off, to stay away from that relationship in order not to get attached and hurt in the process. The third characteristic is suppressing emotions. Avoidant attachment individuals tend to suppress or hide their emotions. They might downplay the importance of a feeling and avoid emotional expression, both in themselves and in others. The fourth one is detachment in relationships. They often appear detached and uninvested in their relationships. This detachment is a defensive mechanism to avoid potential pain or rejection. They may come across as aloof or emotionally unavailable. The fifth one is positive self-view, negative view of others. Individuals with an avoidant attachment style typically have a positive self-view but a negative view of others. They see themselves as competent and capable, but may perceive others as untrustworthy or unreliable. The sixth characteristic is difficulty with dependence. They find it challenging to depend on others or to let others depend on them. This can make it difficult for them to engage in reciprocal, supportive relationships where mutual reliance is necessary. The seventh, avoidance of conflict. Avoidantly attachment individuals often avoid conflict or emotional discussions. They may withdraw or shut down during disagreements, preferring to evade issues rather than confront them directly. Eighth, high value on personal space. They place a high value on their personal space and boundaries. They may become uncomfortable or defensive if they feel their personal space is being encroached upon or their independence is threatened. Ninth, reluctance to seek support. These individuals are reluctant to seek support or help from others, preferring to handle problems on their own. They may also be less likely to offer support to others, viewing such interactions as burdensome. And the last one, 10th, is impact on relationships. So the avoidant attachment style can lead to challenges in forming and maintaining close relationships. Partners of avoidant attached individuals may feel neglected or unimportant. This can lead to relationship dissatisfaction and instability. So the avoidant attachment style is characterized by strong preference for independence and discomfort with intimacy, emotional suppression, and detachment in relationships. These individuals maintain a positive self-view but often have a negative perception of others. They are not trusting them, they are scared of being hurt, which can lead to difficulties in forming and sustaining close supportive relationships. While they may appear self-reliant and competent, their avoidance of emotional closeness and reliance on others can create significant challenges in their interpersonal interactions. Next, let's talk about anxious attachment style, also known as anxious-preoccupied attachment style. The characteristics of this style are intense need for closeness. People with an anxious attachment style have a strong desire for close and intimate relationships. They crave deep emotional connections and constant reassurance from their partners. 2. Fear of abandonment. Those individuals often experience a pervasive fear of abandonment or rejection. They worry that their partner will leave them or that they are not truly loved, which can lead to clinginess and overdependence. 3rd one, emotional instability. Anxiously attached individuals frequently experience high levels of emotion volatility. Their moods can swing dramatically based on their perceptions of their partner's behavior and the state of their relationship. 4th one, hypervigilance to relationship threats. They are highly attuned to potential threats to their relationships, often misinterpreting neutral or ambiguous signals as a signs of impending rejection or abandonment. This hypervigilance can lead to constant anxiety and preoccupation with the relationships. So they can be, for instance, very scared of you leaving them for other people. So they might be overprotective. Maybe, for instance, they will feel insecure even when you just talk to people from the opposite sex, for instance. The fifth one is negative self-view, positive view of others. Individuals with an anxious attachment style typically have a negative view of themselves, but a positive view of others. They may see themselves as unworthy of love and high value their partner, often placing them on a pedestal. So this will also be very helpful for people from the dark trades, or like psychopaths, narcissistic people. They love people with low self-worth, bad self-esteem about themselves. They love that you put them on the pedestal. So if you have this characteristic, it is more possible for you to get used by a person with that dark antisocial characteristics. The sixth characteristic is seeking constant reassurance. They often seek constant reassurance and validation from their partner to soothe their insecurities. This can manifest as frequent questions of their partner's feeling or excessive efforts to please and gain approval. The seventh is difficulty with boundaries. Anxiously attached individuals may struggle with setting and respecting boundaries in a relationship. Their fear of losing their partner can lead them to overstep boundaries, become overly involved, or invasive. Eighth characteristic is dependency on partner. They tend to be highly dependent on their partner for emotional support and validation. This dependence can create an imbalance in their relationship, placing undue pressure on their partner to meet all their emotional needs. Ninth one is conflict and jealousy. Anxiously attached individuals often experience high level of jealousy and conflict in their relationships. Their insecurities can lead to frequent arguments and attempts to control or monitor their partner's behavior. 10th one, impact on relationships. The anxious attachment style can lead to intense and sometimes turbulent relationships. While their desire for closeness can create deep bonds, their insecurities and need for constant reassurance can strain the relationships, potentially leading to dissatisfaction for both partners. The anxious attachment style is characterized by an intense need for closeness, fear of abandonment, emotional instability, and constant seeking for reassurance. These individuals often have a negative self-view and a positive view of others, leading to dependency and difficulties with boundaries. While they crave deep, intimate connections, their insecurities and emotional volatility can create challenges in forming and maintaining stable and healthy relationships. And the last attachment style is the anxious-avoidant attachment style, also known as disorganized attachment style. So the characteristics of this style are: first, conflicted desire for intimacy and independence. People with anxious-avoidant attachment style experience a deep internal conflict between their desire for closeness and their fear of intimacy. They crave emotional connection, but simultaneously feel fear getting too close and getting hurt by the other person. Fear of rejection and abandonment. These individuals often harbor intense fears of rejection and abandonment. However, unlike those with purely anxious attachment, they also fear the vulnerability that comes with intimacy, leading to a push-pull dynamic in relationship. So, on the one hand, they want it, and on the other hand, they are scared of it. That's why it's called disorganized. The third one is emotional unpredictability. Anxious-avoidant attached individuals often exhibit erratic and unpredictable emotional responses. Their behavior can be confusing to partners, as they may swing between clinginess and withdrawal. The fourth characteristic is negative view of self and others. They typically have negative views of both themselves and others. They may see themselves as unworthy of love and view others as unreliable or untrustworthy, leading to a lack of stable, secure attachments. They also have difficulty trusting others. Trust issues are common among individuals with this attachment style. They often struggle to trust their partners, fearing both abandonment and the potential pain. The sixth characteristic is high levels of anxiety and avoidance. They experience high levels of both anxiety and avoidance in relationship. This duality can manifest as an intense need for reassurance followed by emotional withdrawal when their partner tries to get close. They also have poor emotional regulation. Anxious-avoidant individuals often struggle with regulating their emotions. They may have difficulty managing stress and anxiety, leading to sudden emotional outbursts or complete emotional shutdowns. They also show inconsistent behavior. Their behavior in relationships is often inconsistent and erratic. They might seek closeness one moment and push their partner away the next moment, creating a cycle of unpredictability and instability in their relationships. They also have some challenges with boundaries. They may have difficulty setting and respecting boundaries. Their fear of intimacy can lead to keeping others at a distance, while their fear of abandonment can result in crossing boundaries to seek reassurance. The impact on relationship is that it can lead to a particularly challenging and chaotic relationships. Partners may find it hard to navigate the constant shifts between seeking closeness and pushing away. This dynamic often results in lack of trust, frequent conflicts, and emotional distress for both partners. The anxious-avoidant attachment style is characterized by conflicted desires for intimacy and independence, fear of rejection and abandonment, emotional unpredictability, and trust issues. Individuals with this attachment style have negative views of both themselves and others, leading to high level of anxiety and avoidance. Then their inconsistent behavior and difficulties with emotional regulation and boundaries create significant challenges in forming and maintaining stable and healthy relationships. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. Remember that it's not black and white. You can have characteristics from all of those attachment styles all at once. Maybe you have more characteristics from the avoidant attachment style, or maybe from the secure one. So there probably is something that is like main for you, that is more connected with your personality, but you most probably have the characteristic of all of the attachment styles, at least in some proportions. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to leave a rating. That will help me a lot. And also on every podcast there is a Q&A. You can ask questions or share your opinion with me. I will read every one of your messages. Alright, so that's everything from me. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great day. Bye bye.